fellas, this is Rabe speaking, and as you can tell by the thumbnail or the title of this video, we're going to be talking about Maul, the Shadow Lord, Season 1, all 10 episodes. So I highly recommend that if you have not seen this show, you might want to before going to this video. I really recommend it because it would just make your experience with the show, like as you're watching it, a lot more suspenseful. I mean, you guys might be like, oh, I already know what happens to Maul because of Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, but you also want to see how he ends up there. Like, how does he get through this show? Because the stakes get really high. I'll just put it like that. So, please, I repeat, please, watch this show first and then come back to this video. So anyway though, let's continue. So this show takes place about a year after Revenge of the Sith, the Clone Wars, where the Republic is already the Empire, but in its early years, the Jedi are being hunted down. And yeah, we have explored this era of Star Wars before with the Bad Batch, but I felt like the Bad Batch was a bit more bigger, where you had like the point of view of all these other planets, like all these other groups, especially the clones. Whereas this show focuses more on just Janix. That's the angle that you get. You see, it focuses on law enforcement, it focuses on these two Jedi, and last but not least, Maul and his group, of course. Now, despite some anticipation for this show, some people were not, of course, and that is because of Star Wars Rebels, when Darth Maul dies at the hands of Obi-Wan in his arms peacefully, as he learns to accept the fact that someone else is going to kill Darth Sidious. I mean, that was a beautiful ending and everything like that. And so, if Maul didn't have his own show, I would have been satisfied with how his character arc was. But when this show was announced, I thought of it more as a necessary bonus. And so, we get more of Maul as a character, that he's just this complex character who you sometimes feel is unpredictable, but you also understand him as well. You see, Maul has a vision of Savage and a younger version of himself, as we see, where he has like these blue or green eyes. Those were not the eyes of the murderer that we see in Star Wars. Those were the eyes of an innocent child. And so Darth Sidious comes in, takes him away, as Maul has no choice, and Savage cries for him. I never knew those two, I never knew Savage and Maul knew each other as kids. I always thought that Mother Talzin just kinda sheltered Maul away from that life from the Night Brothers, and that Savage just kinda was just oblivious to not knowing that he had another brother. Even though Maul and Savage did evil things together, they were still sympathetic in their own way. And so we see that Maul suffered abuse at the hands of Darth Sidious when he trains him. And that's another thing though too. We never seen Darth Sidious train any of his apprentices. So this was something new. I thought this was a special scene. And another level of depth that we get with Maul is that we see him shed a tear. Like, how many villains that we see in like movies or television shed a tear? Not too many. And so with Maul, I feel like this is the first time for a Star Wars villain to like actually cry, to actually show a bit of misery like that. But Darth Sidious is not the only person that Maul is trying to take out. There are other people as well. You see, the thing with Maul's character is that one of the things that keeps him alive is not his legs or his power or whatever, but it's his lust for revenge. Like, he has to get revenge on every single person that has ever wronged him, especially if they betrayed him. I mean, you see, we have the Shadow Collective that is no more, and you have these crime lords that are once part of the Shadow Collective have benefit off of the failure, the defeat of Darth Maul. And so Maul's like, I'm going after them now. So that's pretty much one of the reasons why he's on Janix. And so he has this one big dude named, I think his name is Demis killed. I mean, he was pretty cool. He almost got Varro killed as well, like he almost killed him, but then Varro proved himself, and that led to Maul taking out Mark Grimm of the Pikes. Even though Mark Grimm looked cool and everything, I kind of feel a little let down that he got taken out pretty easily, because if you remember in the Clone Wars Season 7, he was able to capture Ahsoka like 3 times, and then who was a former Jedi, clearly. And so I feel like Mark Grimm would be a bit smarter to know who he's dealing with, because he was afraid of Darth Maul in the Clone Wars. And so I feel like he would have been a bit more prepared on how to deal with Maul. Like, oh, I'm going to do this, like making sure that he doesn't come anywhere near me at all. But instead, he gets killed off so easily. And it was cool how he got killed. I mean, it's similar to how Kylo Ren killed Snoke, you know, just with the lightsaber and then just turning it. Not saying, like, have him be as challenging as the Inquisitors and Darth Vader for that matter, but we'll get into that in a moment. But still, I feel like it was just too easy picking for him to kill Mark Grimm. So, yeah. And it was in the beginning of episode 4, which the rest of the episode has nothing to do with the Pikes, as well as the rest of the show in general. Like, the Pikes are pretty much just an afterthought at this point. But there are other characters to talk about as well, like Brendar Lawson. Now, when I first saw Lawson in the trailer, I thought maybe this is going to be similar to Breaking Bad, where you have the main character, Walter White, against his brother-in-law, Hank Schrader. You know, Brendar's trying to figure out Maul, like, how he's trying to take him down, trying to find him and everything like that. And maybe he could have. Though, looking back, you kind of wish he did win, because if he had captured Maul right before Two Boots called the Empire, like, everything would have been fine. Everybody would have been safe and everything. Brendar could have been the real hero of this story, but instead he couldn't be. The only thing that he was able to save was his son. And I also love the relationship between him and Riley, how they're struggling to be close, but you have Brendar, who's more dedicated to his job. When they're on the run, they have a talk on how, like, Brendar says, like, I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. So Riley's like, I understand, Dad. I mean, this is the closest we've ever gotten. And that is a touching moment. We have where Brendar sacrifices himself just to save Riley. With Riley not having his father around anymore, I wonder what's going to happen next with him and Two Boots. Over here, we have Two Boots, who I feel so bad for. I never felt so bad for a droid, even though he gets out of this alive, thank God. One of the reasons why I feel bad for Two Boots is, for one, he removed his boots. That'd be like if Sneakers O'Toole from Family Guy took his sneakers off. I just want to get that joke out of the way. But another reason why I feel bad for Two Boots is because he's this droid that goes through an eternal conflict in himself. And usually we don't get that with droids. Usually droids are just comic relief, like, oh, that was so funny. And he does have those funny lines here and there, but they're not forced. And so with Two Boots, he is conflicted with his relationship with the Lawsons, while also doing what he feels is right, like protocol, his duty, everything like that. Like, what's more important to you as a droid? Your friends or your job? Or the Lawsons, where they're technically your family? Luckily, Two Boots takes the side of the Lawsons over the Empire, but it takes him a while. It's not just like, with the flip of the switch, I'm on the side of the Lawsons because the Lawsons I care about so much. Instead, it takes Two Boots a while to ease in on that side, if that makes sense. Where Brendar tries to make a trade with him, like, hey, trade me my son for myself, okay? I mean, that is kind of under your protocol, so I'm just saying, Two Boots. Two Boots goes along with it, but of course, the Empire comes in, and that's when Two Boots joins the side of Brendar and all that. So, again, I'm just glad he got out of this alive. I hope he has a happy ending in this show with Riley, but we'll see what happens. And over here, we have the Inquisitors. We have the 11th brother, who was killed easily by Ahsoka in Tales of the Jedi, and then we have Merrick, who was also defeated by Ahsoka, but it's a bit harder to explain with him. He did hold his own, but when Ahsoka defeated him, the smoke came out, probably like Night Sister magic from Morgan Elsbeth. Some people are theorizing that maybe Merrick died a long time ago. So, we see these two characters in the Maul series. I didn't know, like, I didn't know how much I should hype about these characters, but like when I saw Merrick in action, just observing things, like the walls, like touching the lightsaber marks, I was like, he's different from the other Inquisitors. Like, he's actually smart. Like, he's actually doing detective work and everything like that, similar to Batman. I can see why Darth Vader appointed you this mission. I see it. Then the 11th brother shows up to reinforce him, and so they're going up against Maul together, just Maul. Maul has injured legs, and some people find that fight controversial, but it makes sense because not only is Maul injured, while also he's also dealing with personal stuff as well. Like when the 11th brother stabs one of the Night brothers. I think it was Icarus or Scorn. When he kills one of them, it brings back the memories of when Savage was killed by Darth Sidious. So yeah, he's being affected on a mental state. I just hope that Merrick returns for the next season because I really loved him. I mean, I loved how creepy he was when he was observing that one stormtrooper. He's just doing this as the stormtrooper is reporting to him, making sure that he doesn't piss off Merrick. And then when Merrick and the 11th brother walk away, the stormtrooper is just relieved, like thank God. I also like Darth Maul's posse right here. I like Root Cast, I like Scorn and Icarus, and I love Spybot the most. But I'm so sad they're gone. I cannot believe Dave Filoni and them had the guts to kill these characters off. Though it does make sense because it helps make the stakes higher, because if the stakes aren't going to be high and they're getting out alive like all of them, then what's the point of feeling any type of fear? Because we already know Maul's going to get out of this alive. So killing these characters off just reminds us how scary the Empire can be. Though you do gotta give these guys credit that they were very loyal to Maul. You know, maybe Maul did have some respect for them, especially Spybot. I mean, my heart breaks when Merrick just kills Spybot, and then Spybot cries "Master," and then just goes into the oil or the acid, whatever that black stuff was. I mean, you have, I think it was Icarus that just tackled all these stormtroopers into the acid. But the most miserable kill was when Rootcast leads a battalion of Mandalorians. Well, not battalion, like a group of the Mandalorians, like in the fog, and she ends up getting killed by Darth Vader himself. Now, I'm not surprised that Darth Vader ended up in this show. I just thought it was going to be a small cameo appearance where the Inquisitors would report to him, and then they would say, "We failed to capture or kill Maul," and then Vader was going to be like, "I guess I'm going after him now," and that was going to be the cliffhanger for season 2. I thought that was the case, but thank God I was wrong, because we get this really, really awesome fight where Maul is going up against his successor, which is Darth Vader, of course, the man that is living the life that he was promised by Darth Sidious. And so Maul's crossing blades with him and is like, "What are you?" And Vader doesn't exchange a word with Maul. I thought maybe he would. I thought maybe Vader would say, "I am what you wanted to be." Like, similar to how he fought Obi-Wan. And then Vader's like, "I am what you made me." But no, they decide to keep Vader silent. And that's probably because James Earl Jones passed away a long time ago, so maybe they just didn't know who would fit the bill to be the new voice for Vader, so they just decided to keep him silent. I'm fine with that, though I would have liked to see him talk, well, hear him talk a little bit, because there's just so much connection between these two characters. All the way back in The Phantom Menace, these two characters have met before, where Maul almost ran over Anakin on Tatooine when he was just a little kid. Some people are like, "Oh, if Maul had hit Anakin, that would have changed everything." I mean, another thing with Maul and the connection he has with Vader was when Maul kills Qui-Gon. And if you remember, Qui-Gon was going to train Anakin after Obi-Wan would become a Jedi Knight. But of course, that was all changed, and so Obi-Wan promised to train Anakin, so things could have been a lot different for Anakin had he been trained by Qui-Gon, had he survived Darth Maul. So it just shows you how much of an impact Maul had on Anakin, despite not actually interacting with each other yet. Over here, we have Daki and Devin. And I know Daki is voiced by the Allstate guy, but I actually felt like his voice fit in with the character. It actually wasn't distracting. But anyway though, just to get that out of the way, you have Daki and Devin, who are clearly Order 66 survivors, and usually it's just the apprentice that survives, like say with Kanan or with Cal. But luckily these two were able to escape together, which is unique where you have a master and apprentice surviving Order 66 together and just trying to work together. And that's pretty much Daki's goal, is to just survive while also blending in, where you have Devin, who just wants to fight the Empire and everything like that. Despite having her master around, she doesn't really have much direction. She doesn't have ambition or anything like that, because she feels like her purpose was taken away from her. She grew up in a time where of course the war was happening and everything like that, but she thought when the war would end, the Jedi were going to be fine and that she was going to be part of the next generation of Jedi Knights. But instead, all of that was taken away, of course, by the Empire, and so she does not know like what her destiny is and everything like that, similar to how we don't know her destiny. And that's one of the things that makes this show fresh, is by adding new characters like Devin. Just when Daki is killed by Vader, when she sees that, and Maul's just trying to hold her wrist and everything, Daki's like, I will kill them. Like, her voice just becomes like it's possessed by the devil. Like, how they altered her voice is just scary to me. We knew Maul was gonna figure out a way to get Daki out of the picture when he force pushes Daki towards Vader, and then Vader puts another few swings on him and then just stabs him through the chest. But luckily though, the protagonists escape with the help of Crimson Dawn, Dryden Voss. I thought that was cool to see him again, and I can't wait to see him in the next season. So they escape with, let's see, we have Two Boots, Riley, Varro, Maul, and Devin right here, of course. Devin says, I'm ready. And so that's going to be the beginning of their trading and serves as the cliffhanger for the next season. It kind of reminds me a bit, though, of when, at the end of Andor Season 1, where Cassian says to Luthen, I'm going to join you, or whatever, like says, you can kill me now, or you have to take me in as a recruit, whatever. The one big comparison that people like to make when it comes to Devin and Darth Maul is when Darth Maul later has a connection to Ezra in Rebels. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot of similarities to that, like how Ezra was stealing and how in the show, at the beginning of the show, we see Devin stealing. But of course, the biggest difference between Ezra and Devin is that clearly Ezra didn't turn to the dark side. He didn't become Maul's apprentice because he had the Ghost Crew, especially Kanan, his Jedi master. And so you have Devin, who only has one good person in her life, and that's Riley. But is Riley enough? I mean, is he enough to be her moral compass? Because there could be a scene later where Riley's like, hey, get away from Maul. Like, just come with me. But we'll see what happens with Devin. I mean, will Devin finally see that Maul is not the right person to follow? Because she may later find out about Daki, like how Maul force pushed Daki towards Vader. If that's the case, she's going to hate Maul forever. I mean, I'm just excited to see what happens next. Like, I can see them having a connection where you have, if you haven't seen The Sopranos, there's a connection between the main character, Tony Soprano, and the other character, Christopher. Or, say, in Breaking Bad, you have Walter White and Jesse. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's pretty exciting. It's gonna make for an interesting dynamic in the next season. And the third season, if we get one, I'm sure we'll get one. But how are you gonna top this season? Because for the first season, we got a lot. Usually for first seasons, when it comes to Star Wars animated shows, we don't get this much material at all. I mean, the first season of the Clone Wars was okay. The first season of Rebels was okay. But the first season of Maul the Shadow Lord, like, this is just Star Wars peak. Well, anyway, guys, I think that's it for this video. I think I've talked about it enough with the highlights and everything. Though, if there are some scenes that you liked that I did not mention, Just let me know in the comments down below on what you liked about this season. Did you like this season? Did you not? Are you looking forward to season 2? Like, what are your thoughts, your theories, everything like that? If you are new to this channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I also have a book in the description down below that I published. It's on Amazon. Please make sure you get yourselves a copy if you have not. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Rob A, and may the anime force be with you. Oh, and one more thing. May the 4th be with you. If this video comes out on May the 4th, we'll see what happens. I mean, you probably already know.